Hi, I'm Dr. Kathy Orpalo, Leader Coach for Huron Student Education, and it is my privilege to introduce you to some of our partners who continue to demonstrate bold leadership in their districts. Imagine being the superintendent of a district that has the largest geographic footprint in your state. Del Norte Unified School District is making sure there are multiple ways that they can cascade communication across this large geographic area to ensure that employees, families, and students have access to current resources and information. Listen to Superintendent Jeff Harris and district leaders share their journey in making Del Norte Unified School District a leader in communication.
Welcome to Del Norte, the northwesternmost county in California, rich in resources and natural beauty, home to 4 American Indian tribes and isolated from the rest of the state by politics and what's often referred to as the Redwood Curtain. We're the largest geographical school district in California and one of only 7 single district counties in the state. Here, we serve over 4,000 students, many of whom are Hmong, Hispanic, or members of one of the local American Indian tribes. Almost 70% live in poverty. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jeff Harris, the District and County Superintendent of Schools. Historically, our students have faced many challenges, but difficulties surrounding communication, both internal and external, are at the heart of many of these. Our geography makes internet and phone service difficult to obtain in much of our county, and our community doesn't use one single communication platform to get information. From the time COVID-19 struck in the spring of 2020 through today, we've had to increase efforts around providing quality academics, safety, nutrition and transportation services, family and social emotional supports, and technology, all within the new normal. All of our staff have done an outstanding job of addressing these needs, but our public information, technology, and curriculum and instruction staff excelled in developing and improving communications with staff, students, families, and the community. Over the next few minutes, you'll hear from several of our directors. Director of Network Information Services, Ryan Botten, Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Leslie Machado, and Director of Public Information, Michael Hawkins, on the journey they shared in building communications that have led to one of the most comprehensive and robust communication structures in Northern California.
Hi, I'm Ryan. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic in the spring of 2020, we had been steadily moving towards becoming a one-to-one student devices district. In 2018, we underwent an extensive network infrastructure upgrade at every school site to ensure we had the appropriate structure in place to effectively support a one-to-one deployment of student devices. When COVID-19 forced our students into distance learning in March of 2020, there were a number of pressing issues. First and foremost was getting a device into the hands of every student. But distributing devices was only one of our initial challenges. We teamed up with our communications department to create and share resources aimed directly at providing technical support and tools for our students to use at home. These training guides were distributed via our COVID-19 website, which had an area dedicated to tech resources for families. We recognized the need to provide live support for our families, so we spun up a new family support help desk hotline. This service was so well received that we've kept it operational and are continuing to provide this support for our community. In order to distribute, train, and support technology for families, we used everything at our disposal to share information and resources, including podcasts, webinars, screencast recordings, and good old-fashioned phone calls. As Superintendent Harris already mentioned, our rural and remote geography also poses incredible challenges for connectivity and internet access for our families. To that end, we did everything we could to expand our network into our communities. Leveraging the upgraded network infrastructure we had in place from 2018, we added outdoor wireless access points at every one of our school sites. This provided connectivity for those who had no internet in their home. These outdoor wireless areas were used extensively by our most at-risk student populations, including many of our homeless youth. While the components I described here are only a fraction of the effort the IT department made during these unprecedented times, we recognize that technology is only one piece of the overall puzzle in making education as a whole work. With that, I would like to welcome Leslie Machado, our incredibly talented Director of Curriculum and Instruction, and give her the opportunity to describe the amazing work her department achieved in order to deliver key services required for educating thousands of students spread across Del Norte County during these past 18 months.
Thank you, Ryan. And in order to deliver educational services to students at the beginning of distance learning, we created our grade level hubs, where students and parents logged on to our website and used a standardized daily workflow that provided a landing page for students to access their daily lessons. To ensure we were providing a unified message to our community, we met with all principals daily and grade level leads on a weekly basis to review our progress over the past week and align our upcoming educational goals across the district. These meetings became extremely important at the beginning of the 2021 school year when we shifted from paper packets to 100% distance learning through synchronous and asynchronous learning. One of the major challenges we faced was gearing staff up to educate students in a way that had never been done before. Our solution was to create the DNUSD Distance Learning Handbook to break down the vital components of distance learning for staff and families. That was only the beginning. We needed to set aside the time to adequately train staff on the new distance learning guidelines. We teamed up with our local bargaining units and agreed to shift all of the upcoming year's professional development days to the start of school for a week of intensive training for staff. Due to the success we found with our grade level hubs in the previous year, we worked with our IT and communications department to completely rebuild the learning hubs. We made them intuitive and more comprehensive in order to meet the ever-changing educational needs of students and provide resources for their families to support them while they were learning from home. To echo Ryan, these were only a few pieces of the puzzle, and the amount of communication that was needed to accomplish this work couldn't have been done without all of the amazing support from our staff and community. With that, I would like to introduce Michael Hawkins, our Public Information Officer, and allow him the opportunity to share the various ways his department supported communication throughout our district and county during COVID-19.
Thanks, Leslie. The leadership and foresight of our superintendent and the board of trustees made it possible to implement sweeping changes throughout the organization in regards to communication. As a result of their efforts to create the communication department in the fall of 2018, we were able to dedicate staff resources to develop new communication initiatives that would address many of the challenges our district historically faced. Over the last 2 years, we started our community newsletter, the Del Norte Educator, and onboarded Peach Jar, our e-flyer platform for the public. One of the most entertaining ways our district communicated with our families and helped reduce community spread of the virus during COVID-19 was installing a state-of-the-art sports live streaming platform to allow our community to watch sports games from the safety of their own home. Aside from that, we recently launched 2 new websites for our community, connectdelnorte.org and delnortewellnesscenter.org. These websites help connect members of our community with local partners and service providers in order to support our most at-risk populations in Del Norte County. When you get a moment, take a look. We'd be happy to talk with you about how you could do the same thing for your area. As for a few of our major challenges, Senate Bill 98 for distance learning and Assembly Bill 130 for independent study were 2 key pieces of legislation that would come to redefine large parts of how education would look during the pandemic. When the bills were released, at first glance, it was apparent that the impact on our families and staff would be immense. We began intensely dissecting the legislation to determine exactly what needed to be communicated. We found that there was an enormous amount of raw information that needed to be boiled down and shared with our stakeholders in easily and understood language and infographics. This is when we first began the production of many of our current communication initiatives. Over 18 months, we recorded 65 Monday video updates from our superintendent to the community, hosted 40 weekly webinars for staff and families, and produced over 55 coffee and conversation podcasts where Superintendent Harris invited special guests to take a deeper dive into key issues about which our community was unaware or had asked to learn more about. That's only listing a few examples of the things done by our amazing staff that helped inform our community in order to overcome the COVID-19 learning curve. These are only a few pieces of the puzzle that fit together into the bigger picture. It took the work of everyone involved across the district to make this happen, and we are proud and thankful of their work.
As you can see, this has been quite a process, and today we've only scratched the surface of what we have available. We believe that by continuing to address communication gaps, we can improve outcomes for all of our students and more fully inform our community about the vital work being done by our staff on behalf of children. Psychologist Rollo May wrote, "Communication leads to community, that is, to understanding, intimacy, and mutual valuing." If you'd like to see more of our communications outreach tools or plans, you can visit us at dnusd.org, or better yet, give us a call. Thank you.